All right, everybody, thank you for your patience. I'm meteorologist Jamey Singleton, and give us a while here. Kevin Tosh, my buddy here, created this great thing as we could, and I'll be here all night. I've actually set up camp here at Cable 12 for the night, but this is to let you know that there is the beginnings of the storm that we were worried about. The wedge has broken. We're well into the 70s outside. There's energy moving in, and we have a tornado watch in effect until 10 o'clock. You'll see that scrolling at the bottom of your screen. I got some information for you there as well. But let me pop this up for you full screen so you can see what's going on. And that's me full screen. Hi, Burden. That's the guy that takes care of you on cable as well. We want Jamey Singleton. See, we've got some options here, and it's going to take me a little bit of getting used to. But anyway, you can see not much in the way of anything that intense on the actual radar picture. This is courtesy of WeatherTap.com. You can see Franklin County there in the middle of your screen. Here's Roanoke. You can see my mouse there. There's an area of rain out toward Raleigh. This has been rotating, and you can see these two. These are where we had the tornado warning. Let me overlay now the tornadoes in our area. That would include, that's until 10 o'clock, and includes Stewart, Patrick County, Floyd County, Harrisburg, westward in County, Giles County, Grayson County, Gale Accident, and all the way further south where they've already had funnel clouds reported. I'll hover my mouse over. And they had 8 miles southeast of Valdosta in Burt County, if you're familiar with that area. We had a funnel cloud reported there by the public. To the tornado watch up for the Hickory area, but there may be more warnings soon. Now, let me explain to you what's going on and what you're going to be seeing in terms of potential for future warnings, what a watch means, what a warning means. A watch is what's in effect now for the NRV until 10. It doesn't mean to take shelter now, but you remember the past couple of days I was telling you to find that safe room, find that safe place, just be prepared for what could be a dangerous night ahead, a dangerous evening ahead. And we were also talking about how we didn't expect this until later in the evening. Well, indeed, what happened was we rose about 10 degrees overnight last night. We started out around 59, and by 4:30 this morning when I checked the models again, we were up into the upper 70s across the Roanoke Valley area and near 80 and south side. What that does is it says, all right, we've got some buoyancy in the air, we've got moisture, we've got energy, plus we've got the forcing, the motion of the air rising up, the shears there crossing the winds. All that's come together perfectly for not just maybe an isolated event, but more of a widespread wind event. There's a lot of wind upstairs. We had power outages all over the area this morning. I imagine those will continue, not from storms, just from the wind itself. Did I do something wrong over there? I'm just curious. Okay, he's just working on some stuff. Kevin is. But we had an audio issue, but it's been fixed. So if they couldn't hear me, they can now.
They can hear you 3 times.
Oh, they can hear me 3 times. Sorry about that. But we're good now, and what we're going to do is I'm going to try to reload this map here for you so I can give you an idea of what's going on. But the watch is, again, just that. It's just a watch. It does not mean anything is imminent. But it does mean, if you're in that watch, if you're in the New River Valley until 10 o'clock, you need to watch out. Figuratively speaking, I mean, that's exactly what it means. And what it means is that even around the watch area, there could be some damaging straight line winds. So it's nothing to take very lightly. And what will probably happen is we'll see multiple watches issued. There's also a flash flood watch in effect for the Roanoke Valley, parts of the New River Valley area, as we're expecting a good amount of rain out of this, up to 2 to 5 inches of rain on top of the 1 to 2 that we had over the weekend. So again, this is one of those things where I was hoping maybe things would calm on down a little bit, but they're really not. And what we're doing right now is on our WeatherTap radar is we are loading the latest information that's trying to come in here. It seems to be having a little bit of trouble, probably because we're doing so much with our computers. But let's see if I can't get this thing to work again. I'm going to go over to the Storm Prediction Center page. How about that? And let me pull that full for you. And I want to make sure it's the right one, because there's 2 full screen options on my board, and I'm used to the one I used yesterday, and when it would pop up the desktop automatically. But what you're looking at is the combination of radar. Virginia is right here. This updates every minute, by the way. And when you see these red lines, that's available energy for these storms to work with. Yesterday, it looked like that would be very low, but because it got warm today, these numbers are higher, and that's what these storms are working on, and that's what's causing some of the problem out there. If we just show you a little bit what's going on is in terms of where the winds are hitting each other right there. That means they can't go into if you run two things into each other, it can't go into the ground. It has to go up into the air. And so we look for, this is moisture convergence. But the thing is I want to show you are the wind shear, bulk shear. What is wind shear? Well, again, it's the ability for the wind to cross at different altitudes. In other words, if I'm standing on the ground, wind could be blowing in like it is today out of the southeast, and just a few thousand feet up, it's coming in out of the south, and a few thousand feet up from there, it's coming in out of the west. And what that does is it creates this kind of a motion, and when a storm develops vertically through that, it starts to spin. If you actually take a pencil in between, I've got a flashlight right here, and if you put it in between your hands and you do that, you can see it creates a horizontal tornado. And then when we have what we call an updraft, where the air rises, it will tilt that horizontal rolling motion, and it will make it even finer, and that's when you get your tornado to develop. So that gives you a little bit of what we're looking at. So what you're about to see, or what you're seeing on the right side of your screen, that is the effective bulk shear. And the values that are bold and blue obviously indicate where we are seeing the most danger from rotating thunderstorms. And obviously with the tornado watch out in North Carolina, and you see the values here are just the same. Wouldn't be surprised if we see that tornado. Not surprised it's in a New River Valley. That's where the numbers are higher. I just had somebody comment, I think Elliot Bowman said, do we think the watch will expand into the Roanoke Valley? Well, that's a good question, and with time it may, because it's a slow-moving storm, but the whole area. I've had lots of people on Facebook, and every time there's a big storm that develops across the area, what about my area? Well, this is the type of storm where everybody's under the gun, okay? Right now, it's more the mountains and New River Valley. Later into tonight and Wednesday, it'll be more Lynchburg and Piedmont. And actually, a cool thing about this Storm Prediction Center page, you can look at it now. You can see all that shear, and I can actually go forward about 6 hours, and it'll use the RAP model, the RAP model, Rapid Update Cycle model, Rapid Refresh, excuse me. And as I put this in motion, you can see how that shear may weaken a little bit, but it's still impressive. And it stays over the New River Valley and shifts a little bit into Roanoke. Roanoke itself tends to be sheltered. It wouldn't surprise me to see maybe south side, if I had to guess, North Carolina, Greensboro, even DC area could see based on this, with that shear moving east and continuing to the north, some problems out there from that. So that's a problem right there that we're looking at, and something that we're kind of concerned about there. So lots going on out there, and again, there's lots to talk about. So you just want to bear with me. I told you these webcasts, they're raw, they're uncut. I mean them to be that way. I don't want them to be fancy, although this is getting pretty fancy what Kevin's developed here for me here. But let me see if I can load this radar picture up here. I know it's going to load at some point. And in the meantime, we'll go to the National Weather Service page. Just gives you another idea. Sorry, it's a little small. I think I can enlarge that for you, actually. The tornado watch area in yellow. Hopefully you know where you live there. Basically, New River Valley, west of Roanoke, under the tornado watch. Don't forget the flash flood watch in effect for the Roanoke Valley. And I believe, let's just click on an area here and read the actual statement. That's in effect until 6 o'clock in the morning, and the concern there is for amounts that could total several inches on top of what we had. So this is already, the weather tap radar is already up, but you can see it's kind of messy. So what I like to do is change things around a little bit. and we're just going to do it live, as I mentioned. Some people like seeing that. When I was a kid and in the weather, I liked seeing, you know, what the weather guy was actually doing, and how he was doing it. So you're getting and this is what you'll see tonight. I've got the other webcast up in the other room, and I've got a whole studio I'm setting up in there that's literally like 10 computers that we'll be using. Hopefully we have enough bandwidth. If not, we'll just get Vernon from Chantel to just give us some more internet, because we're right next door to the cable company, so you know it works like that sometimes. All right, well, let's take off the tornado watches. You can see the flood watches. I'm getting rid of all the watches. I just want to show you the radar, and we'll keep the warnings on in case there are any. We're taking off the wind advisories, the high wind warnings. I'm leaving the storm tracks on just so you can get an idea of, and really these aren't storms per se. These to me look like they're more of just heavier showers. But were you like me? Were you impressed last night with how warm it got? And not only how warm it got, but it got windy fast. And that's when I knew we were in trouble, and that's why I woke up at 5 o'clock and I put out some pretty serious updates. I told schools they may want to close early. I think I know that the Smith Mountain Lake Christian Academy, they did close at noon, but luckily, you know, things have held off enough to where it wasn't too much of an issue. But it could have been if it was just an hour or two earlier, those kids would have been out in the middle of this. So you know, we were blessed that didn't happen. All right, so we're looking at the radar now, and again, it's kind of you know, it's filling in. It'll continue doing that throughout the night, and I continue looking at reports coming in of the funnel clouds down to our south. I've also got the temperatures laid out here for you. It's 80 in Martinsville. Let me pull this a little bit more full for you so you can see it. There you go. It's 80 degrees in Martinsville, and 76 in Roanoke, 77 Danville. And this was a day that we thought might hit 65. When you add about 10 or 15 degrees to that, that makes all the difference in the world in terms of you know, the potential for these storms to become stronger, possibly tornadic. You have to have all the ingredients in place, basically. And we'll go back to the nitty-gritty here at the Storm Prediction Center. We've got the moisture in place. We mentioned yesterday, if you were paying attention, the indices that we look at things like storm composite parameters, basically, or supercell composite parameters, basically. And what that's doing is it's saying, okay, where's my energy at, where's my moisture at, where's my humidity at, and also you know, where's my shear at, where are my winds spinning. And it combines that into a lower value, but it gives you a better idea to kind of pinpoint, instead of just looking at the shear, where we may actually see more of these supercell storms. And the supercell storm, by the way, just as a reminder, it's different from a normal storm that just develops and dies off. It's the storm that will pop up, organize itself to where it survives. It separates the updraft from the downdraft, and that's a lot of times what creates tornadoes. If not rotation, you can still, you know, if not the tornado, you can still get the rotation to create the wind. So our composite right now, our supercell composite, is actually showing higher values farther to the east. But if we put that in motion, you can see how the entire area right there in blue, and I'll pull that full for you so you can see it a little bit better. Here we go. And if we go in, you can see the blue area right there all over Virginia. Southside's got the highest number, but for Virginia, any number that's, you know, above 1 or so is pretty good. And I was looking at up to 6. It went from literally, one of the composite indices last night went from about 0.1 to 0.5 in some areas to maybe 1 or 2 at the most, and then at 4:30 this morning it jumped up to 6, and that got my attention. And remember, this line that you're seeing here will redevelop tonight. It'll keep developing, and we'll look for some bad stuff to be moving through, both in terms of wind damage, the possibility of, I still think, isolated tornadoes, but instead of there being, you know, what we call spin-ups, I think because of the added heat instability, I think maybe we're looking at maybe F1s, F2s around here if we get a couple of them. which may not be a big deal if it's just in the country. It just depends on whether or not it hits a neighborhood or not, and of course if not it develops or not. So there's a lot that's still to be determined with this, but regardless, the system is pretty dangerous. Your fixed tornado parameter here is not very high, so we're not too worried about that. Honestly, I'm not too sure what that is. I'm sure it takes into effect the energy, the rotation, and the available wind shear. But if we look at the helicity, this is the also the tendency for something to spin. The computer's looking at, okay, where's my wind shear at? What are my winds doing with height? And can the storms out there start to spin? And when you see these higher numbers here, around 300, 200 or so, that's where that's high, and there are low numbers here. That also shows you that sometimes these numbers don't mean anything, because we've had almost confirmed reports where the storm helicity values are a little bit lower. But if we put this into motion, you can also see what's happening here is it's moving east, and those stronger helicity values, in other words, let me speak English here, the stronger values that would allow storms to spin and rotate and possibly produce tornadoes do move over Virginia and move over our area over the next 4 to 6 hours and continue over our area well into Wednesday. In addition to that, we have a ton of rain on the way. This is the moisture transport, and boy is this an impressive image. I'm really concerned with flooding. I do think that later into tonight, into tomorrow, we're going to see flooding more widespread than the wind event. The winds are just as dangerous as the flooding, but this is showing you in the arrows, the bigger the arrows, they're vectors showing you very high wind pushing in from the south, bringing in a ton of moisture, and this is at a critical level of the atmosphere where that would happen. And that we're also looking at this hatched area where you see the red and the green. What is that? Well, that's what we call moisture transport, and the dashed green that you can barely see is theta E. So it's combining again the temperatures that are warm. You want that for heavy rain. You want your transport out of the south, and you want your winds to be fairly strong out of the south too, in some cases. So again, just about everything I'm looking at continues to show that what we were forecasting is indeed happening, and that's not a good thing. I can read this. I don't know if you can, but this is basically showing you the low-level winds combined with the upper-level winds, and there is some wind shear there. And again, this will continue. I can show you about 30 wind shear maps. There's another one. Okay, this is, I believe, storm relative helicity, and any value that you see in the bold there over 250 is getting over us again through the night tonight. And again, this will continue. So just to repeat here, I'm going to come back on camera because I did promise my buddy Vinny Brown over at K92 I would give him a call. And let's see if I can, yep, full screen with webcam, full screen cam, boom, there we go. Hey, I can operate a computer. You know, it's amazing when you're trying to do a live webcast, and when the warnings start coming out tonight, the cool thing is you'll be able to see them. So keep in mind, I will be here all night tonight into Wednesday. I'm going to be up for a long time. We've got the coffee in there. I don't drink a Red Bull or anything like that, but I'm going to be watching things, and I'm also going to be posting. So you may see me talking, and I might say, hold on for a second. I might go onto another computer and post for folks who are not watching the webcast. I need to get this out as to many people as possible, obviously, as it continues to develop. So rainstorms moving into the area, tornado watches into effect. Let me make sure I don't have any more warnings up. I'm going to check my other computer real quick and make sure no warnings just yet, but again, that tornado watch is still in effect, and there are lots of the front still way out to the west, so it's not going to be until Wednesday afternoon when that moves through here, and we're going to get a lot of rain. I'm going to go for right now, but again, just prepare for the wind. Hopefully you've been paying attention to the bottom of your screen, and we will be back in probably half an hour to an hour and give you more of a complete update. And then as the warnings start coming out, we're just going to stay on. Okay. okay, until the threats ended. So keep it here for the very latest. Hopefully you got a little bit of something out of that. I did want to tell you about the tornado watch, and again, I'm going to leave you with a shot of the tornado watch actually before we sign off here. We'll put that back up for you. New River Valley, all that area in red, under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock. Look for the strong to severe storms to possibly rotate with isolated tornadoes. Confirmed funnel clouds to the south in that same watch in North Carolina. It's a serious situation. Keep it here on Cable 12. And welcome back, everybody. I'm Meteorologist Jamey Singleton. You are looking at Franklin County. Now you're looking at my mug. Let's see if I can adjust this webcam a little bit. Say hi, Kevin. Hey. I tell you, we've been very busy today, and one of the ideas I had for the webcast, and I'm using my cell phone, and I've got several laptops and computers over here. I've been swarmed, and I mean, literally, I'm not complaining. I'm very glad you're doing this. It makes me still relevant. After my years in television, but literally dozens of emails and probably hundreds of comments asking different questions about this system. And of course, during our chat, we're also getting comments as well. By the way, Elliot, my good buddy, used to be on K92. I won't say what his nickname was, but I don't know if he wants me to or not. But he's a good guy. Obviously knows audio, and he helped us out with our audio problem as well. And he's kind of a weather guy too. I can remember that big snowstorm we had a few years back. He made a page about that. All right, let's get to it. Recap what's going on. And with that, we're going to go ahead and show you what's going on here. This is the National Weather Service site. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Again, amazing what you can do with limited resources. I mean, at Cable 12, we really don't have an actual weather computer, but we contact some of these websites and we tell them what we do, and they say sure. We'll take the publicity and let you use what's going on. Areas in the yellow. This is a tornado watch. It's in effect until 10 o'clock. That basically includes all of the New River Valley area. Tornado watch means that conditions are favorable for a tornado in that area through 10 o'clock. It is not a warning. There are no warnings out at the time, and that is certainly some good news. But that could change through 10, and there could be another watch issued even beyond that, because the storm has a lot more energy to go, and there's a lot of shears. So we're watching that very carefully. And let me just make sure. I've got another radar picture. Yeah, no warnings out, just around the Hickory area. It looks like they may have had a tornado. That's not too far away of you. Hickory is on I-40 as you exit Statesville, Winston-Salem, and head to the west. I used to drive there a lot when I went to school. But we've got not just the yellow area with the our friends at the National Weather Service or in the Storm Prediction Center putting up the tornado watch, but the areas here in the kind of brownish yellow, this is a high wind warning. And this means that winds will be gusting in the ridges above 3,000 or 4,000 feet at a good 40 to 60 miles per hour. The concern is we've got some rain on the way, and with that coming in, it could actually physically pull the wind that's higher up in the air down to the ground. We call that momentum transfer. And again, you don't need a severe storm or necessarily anything rotating to do that. If it rains hard enough, all of a sudden you can get a lot of wind. And here's the thing, people think, okay, it's not spinning, no big deal, it's just straight line winds. But you have to also remember, with sometimes like with microbursts too, when the wind hits the ground and starts to spread out, it accelerates. And so we can see some damaging wind just from the fact that there's a lot of wind up there inherently. And you can kind of see the effect of that. I mentioned too that the temperatures had warmed up today. And here's our weather tap again. I'm going to switch you over to the temperatures that have been on your screen today. And they're kind of hard to see all of a sudden, but I think I can change that for you. Yes, I can. Still 75 in Roanoke, 78. Let me pull that full for you. I don't know, you may not be able to see it all that well, but just trust me here. It's 75 in Roanoke, 78 in Martinsville. This is the area that's under the tornado watch, and really this is not that impressive in terms of rainfall, moderate rain falling, but that's going to help us in terms of getting maybe a flooding situation going on by the time we go into Wednesday morning. And here it is only Tuesday evening, so we've got all night to watch this system. Here's the look at the regional radar picture. You can see how the moisture continues spiraling in just as we were forecasting. So it's coming out of the Gulf, it's coming off the Atlantic. Most of our moisture today actually coming off of the Atlantic Ocean and moving up against the mountains. They're right in through here. We call that upslope flow. That rode the cooler outside as well. But what's been happening too is that the temperature maybe, in terms of would would hold and trick some of these storms into dying off. I look right now on our other computer here, our video toaster. This is a live look outside of our Cable 12 studios. Look, there's breaks of sunshine in there, folks, and we expected a day of just complete cloud cover. So people tell me that a lot. They say, Jamey, the sun's out. You know, that's not a big deal. You know, where are the storms out if the sun's out? The sun helps destabilize the atmosphere, and it's also a sign that, you know, you're not getting that overcast, damp condition that would be very stable and be a hindrance to getting those severe thunderstorms. So the fact that we were seeing some sunshine on that shot a second ago, right there, is telling us that, you know what, there's some storms out there, maybe a little bit of vertical development, a little bit hard to tell, but you can see it right there above the trees, not just clouds, but we're looking for some vertical development as well, and more than likely that's coming off of, I'll show you what it may be coming off of. We can go right into Franklin County, and I will show you that we are looking at Blacksburg. I've got a message. It just said Blacksburg activities canceled. It's from George Rogers. So I don't know what activities those are, but that's what I'm hearing. Franklin County right now, you can see we're not really seeing much on our radar, but you know, these little blips could be clouds. And of course, once you get west into Galax, into Wytheville, of course it helps if I show that to you right there. You can see the rain here moving north. Again, it's not heavy, but it probably has a lot of wind with it as it continues moving on through the area. Speaking of wind, I wanted to show you something kind of cool. This is the VAD wind profile. What in the world are you talking about, Jamey? Well, I will tell you. This deals with that wind shear. And let me zoom it out to where we can see the whole thing here. This, I believe we've got most of it up here. Yeah. Okay, what you're looking at, I'm still not seeing the whole thing. Let's see if I can get it to pop up there. As this is live, you'll excuse me, and I'll go back on full screen so you can get a look at my pretty face again. But what the bad wind profile is the radar is actually picking up where the winds are blowing and how fast they are at the surface, and they're up through the cloud. It's almost like what a weather balloon would pick up, except it's what the radar is picking up as well. So I don't know if we're going to see that or not, because I may have just messed that whole thing up right there. This weather tap thing is great, except when it doesn't work. It's a little bit frustrating, but it's okay. I have other things to show you as well. I've been showing you a lot of computer models, and I thought, you know, why do it again? But I wanted to show you some stuff that really is off the charts, and I also want to check while we're up here. I'm going to be looking, and let's see, I'll just go ahead and do a double screen so you can see what I'm doing here. I am looking up power outages. We had quite a few. I got, I think, 2,000 or 3,000 across Virginia this morning. I may have to Google it. Let's see. From different, I guess, trees falling, power lines falling. The thing is, as the rain falls, the ground's going to get saturated, and any little gust of wind is going to create some problems out there. So let's check this out right now. We're going to look at it as, wow, okay. We do have some power outages out there. We've got in Franklin County, that may be hard for you to see. Let me try to get that a little bit better for you. Again, this is not a perfect webcast, but it's pretty good. It gets the job done. What you're really going to like about this webcast is later on tonight, I've got a whole other studio I'm building, and I've got this 3D radar that I use that I sometimes post, and I'm going to be showing that live for you as that comes in. Carroll County has nearly 3,000 people without power in Carroll County right now. That is incredible. And that's right in that area, Fancy Gap, you know, Hillsville, that, you know, they normally get a lot of wind. You know what? It's also in that area where they're starting to see the I don't know what happened to poor weather tab, but it's where they're seeing the rain. So that's telling me that the rain is indeed dragging down the the higher winds that are up in the atmosphere. So if I can load this again and just not go to the Weather Channel, but go to weathertap.com, you can. It's still as small as anything. I might just close this tab, and we might just try it again. I can go here and show you. These rain showers that are coming in are putting down the wind. That's where we're seeing the power outages. It correlates right where the rain's coming in. So that tells me a lot, actually. It's kind of impressive, actually, to see that 3,000 without power. And I believe Franklin County still 126 without power. That's impressive. Pulaski County 390 customers without power. Floyd County 264 without power. Grayson County nearly 1,500 without power. And Kevin, would you believe that the folks in Abington, the police department there, they're following us now. Vinny Brown over at K92, hi Vinny, is watching us. Legally, I don't know if he's allowed to give out but so much information, but I'm glad he's watching. Smith County, 112 customers out. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of customers already without power. And, we'll continue to watch this because I would imagine as time goes on, this could become a problem out there. Okay, sending you over now to Weather Bell. And, again, this is a great site. It's a pay site, but it's definitely worth it. This is our future radar. This starts about, 2 hours from now. This is what the radar should look like. According to the NAM model, you can see that we're still looking at a general trend of rainfall. And even though that doesn't look heavy right there, remember, it didn't look heavy over the New River Valley a second ago, and they've got power outages. So I think any of this rain is going to bring down those straight line winds. And in a minute we'll talk about tornadic winds, but right now it's the straight line winds that I'm mostly concerned with, even though the tornado watch is out. We'll advance that to 10 o'clock tonight. You can see how that one line kind of dissipates over Lynchburg, and then a second line comes back to fill in that void. Why? Well, because there is the upper low way back here in Kentucky that's spiraling in that moisture. It's still picking it up and moving it in our direction. We'll move it forward, and it strengthens by the time we go into the early wee hours of Wednesday. We really start to get some heavy rain in here and maybe some supercells, because you're going to see in a second there's plenty of spin in the atmosphere. And you can have spin on a sunny day and be okay. The thing is, if you get spin in these rain showers and a lot of wind all to come together, that's when you worry about the tornadoes out there. And look what happens it looks like this model may have sped up a little bit, because earlier Bedford County, watch out by 7 a.m. Wednesday. Danville, I'm really concerned about you because you're in that area that normally gets a lot of tornadic activity compared to everybody else anyway. So that's a Wednesday morning thing. So let's just kind of scroll through here. Rain with very squally winds that can cause some damage, lawn furniture, knock out power, trees down, that type of thing. Then off to the west in West Virginia comes the kind of the grand finale, but that takes all night to get in here. So in the meantime, we pick up a lot of rain, and then it moves on through, intensifies again Wednesday, and takes its sweet old time. Wednesday afternoon, it's still kind of in the area, finally clears out in Roanoke and West by early afternoon, according to this model. And then behind it, look at those little sporadic showers. Those can produce pea-sized hail, but not really much in the way of any severe weather, just because they're right underneath the upper level low that we're looking at. Let's look at, I want to look at another model here, actually, because that one looked a little odd to me, just compared to what I've been seeing. So just bear with me. I'm going to look at the high resolution, what we call the WRF model. And again, if you subscribe to weatherbell.com, you can get all this. It's pretty fascinating. We're going to look at simulated radar reflectivity near Franklin County. This is Franklin County, Roanoke right here. So pretty detailed map, and this is a pretty detailed forecast. So we'll start you out. Let's see, that's about right now, and that's about what's going on. The showers are a little bit ahead of themselves, but you've got to keep in mind there's a lot of wind upstairs, and even with the light showers, we're going to see those gusts coming on in. So we advance it through the night. Watch that strong, very intense line coming through far southwest Virginia. And again, this is going to be right up at around, this is 8 o'clock. Keep in mind the tornado watch in this area here well, I can't move my mouse, so right here will still be in effect probably. There may be more by then, so we have to watch for that. But this will more than likely be a squall line with embedded segments that rotate. In other words, what happens is you get the line of storms, and then not all the wind blows constantly through that line, so you can get some really strong wind on one part of the line that'll force the rotation, because you've got that wind that bows it out, and it causes that spin up or whatever. And then we've got the fact that we can see some supercells, and again, I keep teasing that, but I do want to show you that in just a second. So let's go back here, and we go back and go back forward in time, back to the future. This is looking at later in the day today, going into 11 o'clock tonight. These look like supercells, and it's hard to tell in the model sometimes if they are or not. But when you see clusters all by themselves, these could easily be tornadic, or at least start to rotate. Models have gotten pretty good at picking that up. And so I'm concerned about that, crossing the foothills and getting into Martinsville and even Franklin County, Roanoke County. You're really not out of the woods on that either. And then it kind of congeals into, this is 1 o'clock in the morning. It's pouring down rain, more embedded segments. Again, it's not a straight line, so that tells me that it's not completely just going to be a thunderstorm line that moves through. We're going to have some embedded segments where stuff spins, and we'll have to worry about that. It hangs around through 2 a.m., and you got to keep in mind the rain's just piling up this whole time, and then by 3 it's starting to move on through, maybe weakening a little bit, but not much. This is 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. South side starts to get on the act, and again, I'm worried about Halifax County right there. That's at 6 in the morning. So the models have gotten a little bit faster with this, but there's still plenty of rain right on into the morning, right over Franklin County, Roanoke, areas to the north, and it finally clears out. And again, not just rain, but thunderstorms. And as I mentioned, I would show you, told you I would show you what's going on in terms of wind shear. First, let's show you that outside right now we're seeing some ominous clouds. They're continuing to look a little darker. I mean, of course, the sun's setting, but you know, we're seeing a little bit of development, vertical development there, and a little bit of organization to those clouds. So let's come back to our double box here, and I want to show you the COD page and get it to where you can see it. And again, this is what are we looking at? I know we're looking at shear in some degree. Bulk shear. So basically, it's the entire amount of spin in the atmosphere. And see if there's a level for that. Okay, it's going up to about halfway up in the atmosphere. If that's spinning, that can also help organize some severe storms as well. This is right now, so what you're seeing on the screen right there, and again, those higher colors would indicate the possibility of some rotating storms and some heavier rain, heavier wind brought down to the ground. It does start to move east. That's the good news at this level. So in the mid levels, that's okay. And then kind of a secondary burst there, that's the upper low that I was telling you about. Let me show you that upper low, by the way, just while we've got a second. And I'm going to go to the full United States to show you how big this thing is. The jet stream basically dipped so far south that it cut off from the rest of itself. It's its own jet stream. It's just sitting there spinning. And look at it here. We go through tonight. There it is spinning. Lobes of color rotating around. That's spin in the atmosphere. That'll keep things primed tonight. That'll keep the air rising. That'll keep thunderstorms going. That'll keep the heavy rain going. And even though the cold front comes through Wednesday and kind of clears us out, remember those spotty showers Thursday? Well, that's because the heart of the system is still overhead. So I'm not quite sure it completely clears out after Wednesday. We may see some pop-up thunder showers, and with that, there's a lot of cold air that sometimes gets underneath these things. You could get some pea-sized hail. That would be on Thursday of all time. So do we ever get it out of here? Yeah, we do. By Friday, it finally clears on out. Jet stream relaxes a little bit, and we're okay. So let's go back here. I want to show you some of what concerned me a lot this morning. The supercell composite was a lot higher than I've ever seen it. I watched it about 3 times over the weekend, and we were looking at values around 2 at the max, 1 or 2. And let's go full screen here, and I will show you that. See how much I can go in there. That's about it. We're looking at values here. This is just in a couple of hours. Values of about 6. And notice, where else in the country do you see values that high? Nowhere else. That's us. And if you pay careful attention right there, you can see the black arrow showing the surface winds crisscrossing the upper level winds. That's wind shear. And that's one of the big factors with supercells. We keep that going, at least values of 3 or 4 after 10 o'clock or so, and that finally pushes east a little bit. The one thing I've noticed, everything is pushing east a little faster. Just a day ago, this was still over us by this time Wednesday, the early afternoon. Now it's moving faster, so that's the good news. That still means that tonight is going to be a rough night out there as well. Let me go back to full screen here, because I had a ton of emails and Facebook comments. Malia Flora, the wind is starting to pick up in Roanoke City at 5:08 p.m. Thank you, Malia. I appreciate that. I'll do it, and you can do it too, and we'll both do it. Or I've got messages on here. I'm talking to Kevin, by the way. We're figuring out. Are you just gonna send them my way, or what? I've got a lot of email too on Facebook, and I did say that I wouldn't be able to respond to them all, but I'm going to try to. Let me just get in here and check it out. Some of these are tweets. You have no idea what it's like to be a weather person and have all these notifications up on your phone, and as soon as you type something or put something out, everything pops up. It's crazy. And let's see, one from Camden. I don't see any energy in these storms. Do you expect them to get stronger? I don't. Well, that's just what we were talking about, Camden. There is energy with these storms. It's just above your head, and I can actually I just showed you one. Let me show you what's going on at about 5,000 feet. Okay, this is why we've had some wind damage in North Carolina already. These are winds of 60 to 70 mile. My goodness, 70 miles per hour. Let me put that up for you. Boom. There you go. There's Virginia. That burgundy shading there, that's some very strong wind. That's already made it down to the ground, and I know that because on one of my programs, I'm seeing confirmed reports of wind damage in that area. Thank you, Roanoke Weddings. Joshua Gabrielson telling me I'm doing a great job. I don't think I am. I'm kind of babbling here, but it's a webcast, so we go with the flow. But these are the higher winds that we're concerned about. And again, this is not very far off the ground. So if you were to go to Mount Rogers or Mount Mitchell or you know, the Parkway even, you would be blown around pretty good right now. You know, these are some strong winds. I've heard stories. I went to school at UNC Asheville. We barely made it up Mount Mitchell. We had to turn around because energy does help. And we're back. You know, sometimes when Jamey has too many windows open, I take up the bandwidth, and I do apologize for that. But we're back up now. Notice what you're seeing out in Franklin County. That cloud did not look like that 15 minutes ago. So the showers are starting to develop out on their own, out ahead of everything. And we'll continue to watch that as the evening unfolds, and as we continue to see the storm system move in. It's going to be a long night for folks tracking this, but again, we'll have this stream up as long as we can do it. May take breaks here or there, especially because right now there's no warnings. There are only watches and advisories out right now. What I'm doing is I've got my radar back. I'm adjusting it as we speak. So, well, I'll let you watch me do that. Why not? You can also see people in Franklin County leaving off, probably, or getting ready to go out to eat, or enjoying a nice evening after a long day of work. Who knows? Hopefully they were listening to the forecast today, and know that something's happening. All right. Let's see. We'll take off some storm tracks. And what else? See, this kind of just gets in the way a little bit sometimes. I'm going to take off the tornado watch even. Okay, because we've mentioned that tornado watch out for NRV until 10 o'clock. And by the way, at the bottom of your screen, I've got the safety information for you. Hopefully you're paying attention to that. That's everything you need to know about what to do if you get a tornado warning in your area. Everything to do. So I'm going to zoom you back in now. And, you know, it's funny that we just saw that cloud that looks like it may produce a shower soon, but yet on the radar, we're not really seeing anything. We're seeing it mainly in the New River Valley. We'll go ahead and load up the frames again. It's going to take some time. I mean, like I say, it could take another 2 or 3 hours before this moves in. But look how fast that's moving. And again, that is all because there's a lot of wind upstairs. And I tried doing this earlier. Now that I've got it figured out, we're going to show you the bad wind profile. And this is what the radar sees in terms of wind. It's seeing a lot of it coming from the south and then turning more southwest and then eventually west. These are all barbs. This is time here, so this is back in time, or this is now. This would be 5 minutes ago, another 5 minutes ago, and this is height. So this is 8,000 feet up. I don't know if I can get you down to the ground or not. There we go. Look at the turning with height here. Let me get that a little bit further up there. You can see how we've got quite a bit of wind shear. Okay, there's also speed shear, meaning that the wind at the surface isn't nearly as strong as the wind just a few thousand feet up, and it goes stronger from there. And what that does, speed shear alone, if you got something going slow like this at the bottom and fast like this, it creates another rolling motion. So in kinematics, which was my motion class in meteorology, we call that tilting and turning. We get the speed shear, we get the directional shear that causes things to turn, and that's what can create the tornadoes out there. I'm looking out to the side here just to see if there's anything else in North Carolina, but several reports of heavy rain and wind. They were hit very hard out in that direction. And again, what's left of that rain, you can see it right here coming out of the south. And so this will be something that we'll watch throughout the night tonight. And again, just because it doesn't show up on radar now does not mean in any way that it's not going to happen at all, because it's there. All the parameters are there, as I mentioned. I can show you more before I leave here, and I was answering some questions as well. This is going to look kind of weird, but Jamey is going to pull up his Facebook page live on the webcast. Maybe weird if I pulled up the Cable 12 page and we saw ourselves seeing ourselves. That would be kind of strange. Okay, so let's give you an idea of what my page looks like sometimes there's busy weather. a lot of notifications, a lot of comments. And I'm trying to just when in Pembroke at Hogue's Chapel, Hogue's Chapel, I believe, the East Dallies, says it's picking up and then it slows down, so it's gusting. Basically, is what's happening there, and that's expected. Let's see. When in Pembroke, picking up Roanoke City, wind starting to pick up. Let's see. I'm just skimming through comments, so just give me a second, guys, because I did promise I'd try to answer as many as I could. Let's see. Heading to Rocky Mountain, 30 minutes. Anything I need? That's a nice Anita. No, I'm fine. We're fine, and we're all good here. This was earlier, by the way, when we had those tornado warnings in Hickory. That's what it looked like. That was at 2:46. So you see how long it's taken it to get through here. And again, that's when Elliott said almost 80 in Roanoke. You know, what about the tornado? Floyd County, yes, we know that they have the tornado watch out. But you know, lots of questions like from Lisa Sands. Hi Jamie, I'm boarding a plane soon, hopefully. I'm going to try to get some pictures of the sky for you. So not really a question, but a comment, but thank you, Lisa. We said hi to Vinny. My friend Jamie Fulcher Peters asked what kind of reports am I looking for tonight, because she's got a smartphone. Well, Jamie, anything that's out of the ordinary, heavy rain, wind, lightning, anything that you see in terms of flooding by Wednesday morning, we'll be looking at that as well. So was there something there? So anyway, we'll be looking at that as well. I'm trying to just skim through here. I did have some good questions, but I wasn't able to get to them because I've been literally up for about 3 days. I've been sleeping some and I've been eating. Don't worry. I did promise Michelle Lawson. She thought maybe I forgot her. She's going tomorrow from Atlantic Beach to Christiansburg. So she'll be leaving from the Carolina area into Christiansburg. Yes, you're going to run into the storm system, Michelle. And I'm going to write you right now, even though you may not be watching the newscast. Let me do it for you so you'll have it. We'll be running into the system. Be very careful. Any comments ever on the other page? Anybody watching the webcast right now? 33. Okay. Well, I'm always curious to see where people are watching from, and I don't expect a lot of you to be watching right now, to be honest with you. I mean, a lot of this I'm kind of rehashing. However, later tonight, when the warnings start dropping, we're going to be wanting to get those warnings out ASAP, especially if it's a tornado warning, and this is the best way to do that. So, you know, that's again the concern. I'm just looking for anything else that I may have put out here. I did have an interesting question that somebody asked me earlier. It was two different people asked me this. They said, Jamie, I've been watching other stations. They don't seem to be calling for the same thing you're calling for, or not as bad. And I really can't answer that, because you know what? I didn't watch those stations. I don't really. I sometimes will catch them, but usually when they're making their forecast, I'm making my forecast. And all of the guys, whether it's at 13, 10, or 7, are my friends, and the ladies, the female meteorologists too. And I would not want to even guess, you know, why they made a forecast or why they didn't make a forecast. I don't know what it said, so I just simply said that. You know, and it could be that I'm wrong. But everything that I've studied for the past 20 years, this is I was telling Vinny not too long ago, this is the second most dangerous system that I've ever tracked in my life. The first being the one in 2011 when, you know, all the country got hit, you know, Tuscaloosa, Joplin, and then, you know, up around our area got hit, Gate City, I believe. We had lots of warnings coming in. So this, if it continues to look like it's looking, could be dangerous. The only thing that may save us, but here's the thing, is, you know, we still have a lot of jet stream energy, is the fact that the temperatures will be cooling off as the sun sets somewhat. Although I don't know if they're going to cool off all that much. In fact, we can show you that. This is going to be the 2-meter temperature. We'll put that up full screen for you here. Virginia right here, you can see this is this afternoon, well into the 70s, even into, this is 10 o'clock tonight. We are still, if I look closely here, that's about 73 or so. We stay in these oranges, which are the 70s, right through the early morning hours, only to cool off when the front gets here, and that cool air rushing in and battling the warm, humid air will cause some, you know, very strong storms. And if you see those little circles right there, that could be low pressure that forms along. And the problem with low pressure too, if it forms right along the front, it can enhance spin as well, and that can get stuff going in terms of rotation. So with tornadoes, you're looking at any way you can get the air rising fast, any way you can get it spinning, whether it's a front, whether you just saw it like that, whether it's the wind shear values that we were talking about, whether it's speed shear that we were talking about, any little thing that's going on while the storms are moving in, you know, you can get those dangerous conditions. And again, you can kind of see here the helicity that we were looking at was just incredible. I believe this is off another model, the weather belt model. Yeah, there it is. And what you're looking at here is Smith Mountain Lake right there. Look at the high levels. This is your scale on the right. So this is lower helicity, this is somewhat higher, this is very high, this is extremely high potential for spin. Okay, and if we put that into motion, weakens somewhat as it crosses the mountains, but you know what, it's still high enough. It's every time if I see it, see that's 0 to 3,000 meters up. Now that's around 400 coming into the area, and there's one spot that's at 600. So that model could be picking up on a supercell over Patrick County at 7 o'clock tonight. So, you know, that's just to tell you that this is only getting started. And look, Roanoke even. Let's go back here. And this is not to say this model is exactly right, but it's one of the higher resolution models we have. That's Roanoke County, and a value of 640 on the helicity chart. Let me show you that full screen. That's a little bit concerning, actually. Even if it's not Roanoke County, what this model is trying to tell you is that right along this front coming through, right ahead of it, there's going to be a lot of spin. A lot of spin, more than I've seen all day. Even in Highland County, look at that yellow area right up there. That's almost at the top of the chart. My goodness. And so the air should be unstable. It's going to rise easy, it's going to spin. And so that's what's happening there. C. Swift, hey Jamie, I'm watching your webcast at the moment. I want to let you know I'm a Sky One spotter and I live in Rocky Mount. I'm going to stay up and monitor this as long as well, passing the updates along, and I really do appreciate that. I'm also getting a lot of folks that are following me and wondering why can't I be your friend? Well, I maxed that out. I don't know why Facebook does that, but I can't get over 5,000. But what you can do is you can follow me, and that'll be about the same thing. You can also follow me on Twitter at Jamey Singleton, and that'll let you know what's going on as well. One last look at the radar again, though. I don't see any reason to. Well, there's outside, and just some drifting clouds starting to build in the distance. But with the radar, I'm not seeing anything too awful bad that would warrant any terms of live break-ins. What I would like to do is kind of take a break, reorganize here, and maybe eat a little bit because I haven't eaten today, and let you if you have any questions for our next broadcast, go ahead and email them to me on Facebook. And I'm also going to update that crawl at the bottom of the screen. However, this webcast will be staying up. I'll leave this radar up for you to look at, along with the bottom banner here, which will be right here. But I'm going to go ahead and update that banner, so I may take it down, but you'll be able to see the constant radar throughout the night. And then I may switch over to my 3D radars as the warnings start to get going. So that is the very latest for right now. I do appreciate you tuning in for this webcast. And again, we're going to be back. I'll let you know on Facebook. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit later on this evening, probably closer to 7 o'clock or so, maybe 8 o'clock. I'm just going to watch the radar, and if it starts acting up, I'll let you know that as well. So again, send me those questions on Facebook, facebook.com/Jamey Singleton, and I'll try to answer them. And we'll let you know what's going on. We'll update that crawl at the bottom of the screen, give you any more information we have there, and we'll go from there. And also, there's an interesting room right next door too that Chantel has. When you watch the Weather Channel and you see your local on the 8s and a warning comes out, you see me auto post it. I have a service that I pay for out of my pocket for you, that auto post it for your safety. That building controls all of the Chantels in Virginia, and so it's really kind of cool that the Weather Channel is sending out an encrypted signal, and when the Weather Service pushes a button, it goes right out there. So it's pretty cool to see. So see if I can't make it over there and get a picture of it for you and show it to you. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. And listen, this is, again, if you're bored right now, don't worry. Well, worry in a way, because there's a lot more to come. That shear I just showed you, that helicity, looked really strong. And even if we lose the heating, the dynamics alone, that's enough to concern me. That's enough to concern me. So that's why I've got the safety information up on our Facebook and on the crawl. And again, we'll leave you with this radar shot, and we'll be back later on this evening. We'll let you know on Facebook, by the way. As soon as I put it out there, I'll say, hey, I'm about to go on now, and just go back to this web page and you'll see it. I'll talk to you later.
check, check. I don't know if it's gonna work. He started dropping a ton of frames when we hooked that in.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our experimental webcast. It's a learning process. It has been the whole couple of days, but you know what? It's getting the job done. Now, we wanted to cut in because I wasn't going on a little bit that's out there that is getting stronger really fast. We were looking at just some weak activity that we had. It appears to be the development of heavy storms, or at least some heavy showers into the Franklin County area, into Floyd County as well. I'm going to show you that right now on our radar that we've had up for you here. This is your full screen, and you can see that right through the Ferrum area, moving into Boone's Milk, Hayes Mountain, through Floyd County. This band of moisture right here is containing a lot of heavy rainfall. It's intensifying. That means there's more energy coming in out of it, and temperatures, by the way, I know it's hard to read them, are still in the 70s. Dew points are in the mid to upper 60s, and moisture certainly not already in the thunderstorms. And once they form, as I mentioned, the wind shear is already there for these things to get stronger. So now we're starting to see things ramp up, and about 7 o'clock is 2 days ago, about what I said would happen when these would start. The winds are coming in out of the southeast, and look how the rain's pushing north. That alone tells you that we're looking at quite a bit shear that's going on across the area. So you know, that's a concern there. I believe you'll be back in a second, but every time you're seeing that drop out, it's because I'm adding something to the I believe our trick with the other radar, though, is going to probably fix that. So what I'm going to do is, so many folks are on here that we're having some bandwidth issues. Okay, we're back. Sorry, guys, we had some bandwidth issues there. What's happening is I've got literally so much that I'm updating here, and these graphics actually take up a lot of bandwidth, and so it takes up that I.
Pause that, or just do the still. Whoop.
Wow, I tell you, when it rains, it pours. It's getting to the point, and I believe what's happening is, in general, more people are on the internet now at this time of the night, and it's taking up our bandwidth. you know, and it's hurting our. There's only so much internet in Franklin County, and I believe that's what's going on. Even though I personally use a MiFi actually on my system in itself. But what I wanted to do, this is the old radar. What we're about to do, if you're still with us, by the way, thanks. And we do have people still with us, hopefully, that understand. Maybe not. Maybe. Let me go to my three-dimensional radar here. There we go. And I'm going to take this off just so we can eliminate a little bit of confusion, and hopefully that'll keep us live. You're looking at Franklin County here. This is the Boone's Mill area. This is right around, and should a warning come back at, we do think up bandwidth at this time. What we may have to do is switch over to our original yesterday, and seeing if that works. It has less elements because we're just getting still here, stronger, and we'll have another update coming up for you in just a little bit. Sorry for the interruption in your bandwidth. We're going to work on that.